My name is Fred Van Den Burg from Agrodom'un, Netherlands, and I'm going to talk for you about wood in the construction sector. A short introduction of Agrodom'un. You've seen Sissy several times already. Sissy and I are the core of the Agrodom'un, and then we are a network organization, so we work together with a lot of other people. We are an information center for bio-based and circular building. And what we are doing is we have, some years ago, with 40 companies and ministries, we have looked with them what are the problems for scale up the bio-based and circular materials. And then we came to three topics: rules and regulations. We spoke about it a few minutes ago. Knowledge, because a lot of materials are not known by people. So we are also working a lot together with education centers, of course, because when you have students, they have to learn about the materials, and also professionals. And the third is the market acceptance. So why should a contractor buy circular materials, bio-based natural materials? And to help us, we are a member of the Nature Plus. We are representatives of them in the Netherlands, and we are also biologists. So, and as you have heard, we have done a lot of LCAs. And that gives some problems, because in the Netherlands we have a different system as in Germany. But I think that's another topic. And now I'm talking about wood in the construction. It's about resources, wood use and advantages of wood, developments in the wood sector, and special topics. First, to start, and that's also my origin, I'm forester from education, is of course the forest. And the good thing about the forest is it's an ecosystem that provides a material. So that's quite unique. And when you manage your forest in the right way, you can endlessly produce wood. So that's what you see in the pictures. Of course you harvest some wood, but in another place in your forest, as the ecosystem, it will grow again. So it's a very unique thing. I have looked at the forest in Turkey. Yesterday we spoke about it already, but almost, what was it? Almost 30% of your surface in Turkey is covered with wood. So that's quite substantial. And the main species are, which are very helpful for building, are the Pichia, Abies and fir. And in the other sides you have the oak and the beech, that are very important species for the construction sector. I spoke about sustainable managed forest, because that's of course necessary, others you get harmful, and you harm the nature, of course, and you're making your resources unavailable. And therefore you have the forest certification, and that's unique. That's the only resource in the building sector that has a certification for the sustainability of the harvest. And in Turkey, I saw that you have some FSC forest already. 20% of your forest is FSC certified. And PEFC is another important certification system, is enrolling. There are already a lot of examples, of course, of wooden buildings. I found some on the internet for Turkey. So you're used to build with wood. Even you have one of the largest wooden buildings of the whole world. So that's amazed me. I didn't know it. So it's very good.
Wow. That's it.
Oh, there's one idea missing. So. Okay. That was a deal with modern buildings. So, sorry. Yeah, maybe it's somewhere else. Why is wood so interesting as construction material? As you saw, there were already, in the old ages, people building with wood. And that was because it is a local resource for them. And it's very easy to work with. You don't need very complicated systems for it. And another thing is, wood is easy to repair. So you can, when you have a house, you want to extend it, or you have some damage in it, you can easily repair it. So that were, and also it's easy to handle, lightweight. So that was why people in the past already built a lot with wood. Nowadays we have some more advantages. So it's the carbon storage in the wood, the transportation, it's a lightweight, so it's easy to transport, and also in city, in urban environments. You don't need big lorries to transport, and you often don't need chemical products in the wood, so it's a pure material. And about carbon storage, in this figure, you can see above what is happening with a lot of building materials. We have carbon emissions due to the production, and that will stay there. So your product causes a lot of carbon emissions. In the wood, you stores carbon, because when the wood is growing, carbon is getting out of the air and stays in the wood. Of course, you have also some production, but as I said, it's not very heavy equipment, so it's less. So as long as the wood is there, the carbon is stored into the wood. So that's a quite unique aspect. As I said, wood is a light material, and you can transport one complete house with one lorry. And you don't need heavy equipment to build the house. So because it's lightweight, you don't need heavy equipment with all the problems. And even you can do it with electric cranes. Another good advantage for forest is that you can easily prefabricate. So you can make your elements, your building elements, in a fabric where it is dry, where the temperature is good, where you have a good way of disposing your waste. It's all good concentrated, and then you can transport it to the building site. And then you build a house like a Lego or something. It's just quite easy. And one of the good things from prefabrication is that you can also add already the insulation in the fabric, so where it's dry and you don't make mistakes. Every wood species has, of course, his own unique properties, and it's good to follow them. For instance, you have wood that's good for construction, other species are better for furniture. And you can make mistakes when you can make mistakes when you're using the wood in the wrong way, for the wrong purpose. So we made some schemes for it. It's a bit difficult for you to read, I think. But one of the things you can see is that oak is almost suitable for everything. On the other hand, elder or poplar or species like that are not suited for the same heavy constructions as oak. So you have to look very good what the unique aspects are of the wood species. Some examples of wood constructions. So there's a simple residential house. You know, you can easily adjust insulation between the wood, in this case the straw. You can make wooden floors, very nice walls, because it's a light material. You can work in the height, and also can make multi-store buildings. That is nowadays common, because before wood was only used for 3 stores, and nowadays they're competing, in fact, by building the highest wooden building. Like in the Netherlands now we have a building with 21 stores. They call it a wooden building, and it's a lot of wood but also concrete, so it's more hybrid buildings. And to express this, you see a normal timber frame house on your right, and on the left you see a multi-stores, and that is becoming possible because we have new techniques, the glulam and the CLT wood, where the glulam is made of layers of wood in the same direction. So it's a very strong pillar you can build, column, and the CLT is cross-laminated timber, where you can absorb the forces in 2 directions. So when you make a combination of that, you have the pillars, the columns, you use the glulam, and for the walls and the ceilings you can use the CLT. And together it gives a very strong structure, and that is why we are now able to build more stores than before. Another good use for wood is wooden facades. On the left, on the right for you, you see a facade that is of untreated wood. It's the wood of the black locust, acads, and that is a species that is growing in Europe and doesn't need protection and can stay outside for 40, 50 years. So it's a very special species. You don't have to treat it. The only thing is it becomes gray, like every wood. So if you don't want it, you can see on the picture on the left that is wood treated with a residue from the sugarcane industry. It's impregnated, and therefore it's not possible it's protected against insects, and it also has still the color you want to have as an architect for a long time. Of course, the problem is that the impregnating, when we're talking about LCAs, has also some effects on the toxicity of your material. So when you look at the environmental impact, it's lesser than untreated wood. Although the architect or the contractor might want to choose for the color of the wood. So that's 2 aspects. You can look at the LCA, but you also have to look at the function of what you want as an architect. The picture on the right side, on the underside, the black one is wood treated with a fungi. So that's very special. Wood and fungi are always enemies of each other. But this fungi, it's a normal common fungi, is fed with linseed oil, and then it stays on the surface of the wood. It doesn't go into, so in fact you have a living protection of your wood. And the only thing you have to do is to feed sometimes the fungi by spraying some linseed. So it's a very nice natural solution for a problem. The only problem can be for an architect that the color is black. There are no other colors.
Okay.
Now, there are a lot of other possibilities to use wood in the construction, but in the middle, that's interesting, I think, is a window frame where they make a combination of an hardwood at the vulnerable places, so where the moisture can come. So there you use an expensive wood species, and all the rest you can use fir or whatever, because it's not affected by infestors of fungi or moisture. And it makes your window frame much cheaper, because you only have a small part of the window frame that is expensive. And you can connect it with finger joints. Strange picture, but what I wanted to say in this picture is, of course, when you have multi-stores, you have in the wood construction always the problem with sound. And of course, in fact, wood can be used very good acoustic, like in this room. But when you have floors, your neighbors above you, you don't want to hear them. And there are very good solutions developed, but it's an important thing to think about when you design a building and consult a good acoustic expert, because it's then the end of life of forest, of wood, I must say. Most of the time wood is think of that it's be burned. When the buildings are demolished, then the wood will be burned. But wood can be reused in several ways. Friday we saw a house where they used the wood from the shipyard. So that's very good one. But also the beams, because they don't lose strength during the time. The only thing you have to look at, if nobody has putting a saw in it to make a hole or something like that. But in fact, your material is strong even after 100 years. And there are a lot of examples from, proof from, and that is different than when you have a steel beam that can have weakness after a longer term. And this project that we have done, it's a health center in the Netherlands for youth with problems. So it's quite a challenging project, because it has to be able to resist all the things youth can think of. And it was very good. Also the standards were quite high, but in this case the architect got the material and then he has to design the project with the material that was provided. So it was very nice. A special topic, already the earthquakes, we mentioned it before. Important can be when you want to have a multi-story buildings, that a wood building can be very good because it can absorb a lot of forces, and also it's much lighter in the height, and that helps you to overcome much damage caused by earthquakes. in Japan, where they have also a lot of earthquakes. They're doing a lot of tests with that. There are also nice films on YouTube. You can look. But, well, I thought it would be too risky to add it to the presentation. But look at YouTube, or maybe you've done it already, and you can see that wood has good properties for building in earthquake zones, like West Turkey, for instance. It's one of the vulnerable places, of course, but you know that better than me. So what I want to say is that wood is very good for the society as a whole. It has a lot of advantages. You have the carbon storage in wood, so it helps you to fight against climate change. But also the wood is good for your biodiversity, for the people to walk in, to recreate in. So it is not only a material, you have also a nice ecosystem with it. I think when I see the figures, there's a huge potential for more wood in Turkey. Even so, I've read that Turkey is in the top 10 of afforestation. So there's a large potential for creating more wood. Maybe the industry should follow. That could be a problem. But I think it's important to do so. And you can, because with wood you can build fast, it is affordable, when it's local sourced, of course. Wooden buildings are comfortable, good for your health. It's also good for local employment. And as I said, it's good for use in earthquake zones. That was my presentation. If there are any questions, you can find us, of course. And one of the websites I will mention you is biobasedbouwen.nl. That's a website where there are a lot of natural materials with all the technical information that is available, and also projects where they are being used. And that is also made to show that a lot of these materials are common and easy to use. Okay, thank you.